Hey, friends, welcome to the Good Roots podcast. My name is Nick Lee, pastor here at Harvest United Methodist Church. And this is a little bit of a different podcast than what we have done over the last couple of weeks. We're just getting back from Kenya, working with a group called Zoe Empowers, and we wanted to give you a glimpse into what we saw and to talk about the mission. It's a ministry that we are very a big part of here at Harvest. And so we wanted to give you a glimpse into that and tell you what's happening across the world and maybe even give you some ways that you might be able to join with us in this amazing ministry. All right, friends, welcome again to the Good Roots podcast. As always, I'm Nick Lee, senior pastor here at Harvest. And with me today, I have our director of missions with us, missions and justice, to be correct, my good friend Diane McCoy. Diane and I have worked together for, it will be 6 years in August. And we are actually just a little bit of time removed from getting off of a plane coming back from Africa. So we might want to name this Nick and Diane Go to Africa. And it was really a good time. And I wanted Diane and I to have a conversation with all of you to talk about what we experienced and to just give you an opportunity to hear what happened. Our hope is that at some point we're going to get to take more folks from Harvest back over to Kenya. Just a little something that you should know. We have been supporting Zoe for a couple of years now, so this will be our fourth year. We first started with a district group, so here we have our Southwest District, and we supported one together. We just started supporting our own group after Christmas. Our Christmas offering helped us really get that jump started. And Diane and I got an opportunity to meet the group of young people that we're going to be supporting for the next 3 years. And we want to tell you a little bit about that. But first, good morning, Diane.
Good morning, Nick.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. We're not having breakfast like
I
we
know,
usually.
it's so weird. Coming back from Africa, we got to see each other every breakfast and lunch and dinner and after dinner and talk and strategize. And I've just had to be normal now.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird.
So I think this is going to be a little bit of a longer podcast. So I want to start kind of the 50,000 foot view. Let's talk about Zoe Empowers as an organization first.
Okay.
I just off the top of your head, tell me what is one or two things that really jumped out to you about Zoe as an organization when we got there. That was really our first day when we got there.
Mm-hmm.
We spent time with the Zoe staff, and you have done a lot of work researching and connecting. So if for the folks who don't know anything about Zoe, will you just explain to them what Zoe is?
Well, Zoe brings together youth who have been designated by tribal chiefs or pastors in their community, and they have created little pods of communities within their bigger community. What is happening is, with Zoe's help, they are becoming empowered groups so that they are no longer on the street or homeless in some form or another, like living with a grandparent. They are actually becoming people and youth who have businesses, who take responsibility for actions. They support their family, their siblings, and most of them have at least two, if not more, because of just terrible circumstances. And we've heard many of those stories when we were there. But Zoe not only helps them, they empower them at the very beginning. From day one, once they're selected into a group, they start the empowerment of giving these youth responsibility. But not only that, they get training on skills. they get mental health issues, which was something new that I hadn't heard about, and that they're focusing on is helping them with mental health, which is significant as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that is.
So
What I loved about the program too was seeing how the folks who actually work for Zoe on the ground have, maybe up to 13 or 15 groups of kids. So the pods, or I've been calling them family groups. So it's essentially, right, so you get these older siblings. I think of my own kids. I've got an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. If, God forbid, my wife and I disappeared, they're in charge of their younger two siblings. And so Zoe essentially gets those kids, gives them training, and puts them in a position to be the heads of their household. So I'm going to start with the big concept first, because I think we can spend some time here. The CEO of Zoe in Kenya said to us on that first day, he made he talked about the difference between relief and empowerment. And I know both of us, our ears perked up when he started talking about it. I wonder, just for a second, we'll go back and forth, we'll talk about this, but give me your understanding of what he meant between the difference between relief and empowerment.
yeah, I think most churches are very accustomed to be giving mercy ministries, which is what I call relief ministries. And they're all good.
Right.
I mean, but what I think Reagan, the CEO there, was telling us was that it's more than just relief. It's about justice.
Yeah.
And so these kids they don't want any handouts.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't even allowed to bring candy to give to our group of empowerment group, because they feel that enables them. And he discouraged the ideas of even the meal kits that we've talked about, and sending that kind of a relief of, the rice and beans in a package. And the reason is because it enables them. If they can get it for free, people aren't going to work for it.
Right.
But the other thing that that I took away from that struck me, that I hadn't really thought about, was that they're already growing rice and beans in that community. So it's taking away from income that they could be earning and getting. And to me, that is just, it's shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, and he was very careful, and I think we as a church and as a community who are seeking to do mission have to be really careful. Is there are places where relief is necessary.
Absolutely.
The situation in Kenya where we were at, the government really has supported Zoe in the sense of, like, they support their being there. I know that there are places that we're in right now, like Cuba and some other places that we support, that relief is necessary because either government forces won't let those folks actually own businesses. Right. But I also think one of the things, and we talked about this a little bit, was sometimes our desire to do mission has been driven by something that makes us feel good, or our need, to feel like we're doing something in the world, which is important. I think the other thing is that I came away with was he was talking about stopping the cycle of dependence. And not every place in the world is that possible right now. And so, like, we have to do both and. But let's talk about empowerment for just a second. So we understand relief is necessary in some places.
Yep.
Just because of the nature of where they live, or, they don't have the natural resources. I tell people when we were driving around, one of the things that caught my attention was there were mango trees and there were banana trees and
cornfields and wheat
cornfields,
fields,
coffee fields.
coffee.
Yeah,
I mean, it's plentiful.
it's plentiful. And so for them to send, you know, relief like that actually stops the cycle of them being able to take care of themselves. And even the Zoe project itself, I think he said to us, you'll have to kind of correct me here, but essentially at the beginning of the program, when the kids start in the first 6 months, they don't actually get, they're not handing out even the microloans yet.
Right.
Because they're teaching them, they got to teach them things first.
They're teaching them community.
Right.
As what I saw,
Yeah.
is that they needed to become dependent on each other,
Right.
so that each one can contribute. And one of the first things they do is they select who's going to be a leader in their
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
They go and they have a mentor, and the group as a team
Yep.
has to select that mentor. It
Yeah.
isn't like they just nominate,
Yeah.
they just
Tell them who it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting and empowering. That's why I said they empower them from day one.
Yeah.
And these kids don't even, the ones that we saw didn't even have sponsors yet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's how new they were to the program.
Yeah. And I love the mentor piece because the mentors come from the community. It's not a paid position. They have looked around and said, this beautician is really good at business and we want to learn from her or him. And they pick mentors from the community. So the community is being empowered to take care of their kids. So like we said, like most of these kids are either orphaned completely or have an elderly grandparent who can't take care of them. And these older siblings, and I think they said like the older siblings are anywhere from like 15 to 20, somewhere in there, I think.
Mm-hmm. I don't think any of the groups that we visited had a youth that was older than 21.
Yeah, yep, yep. And so that empowerment piece for me was about removing the cycle of dependency. Because even they said, like, after the 3 years is over, those groups, most of them, I think a high percentage, stay together.
Yes.
And they continue to help each other.
Well, and what's interesting is they do move out of that small community,
Right.
but yet they're taking the model out into a different community potentially, but they are still connected. They still are helping each other, still offering grants and table loans and doing all that they had learned within that 3-year period.
Yeah, so that was one of the biggest things for me that also when I took a bunch of notes, right, to bring back, and it was the idea of the community that was created. Like, they're not just they're not just trying to help them fix the financial or the housing issues. They're actually building a lifelong community. And then I want you to tell me kind of how you saw this. One of the other things that we got to see graduates first, which I thought was extremely important. Those graduates now are impacting the community. I wonder if you will tell us, I'm thinking of a particular story, but is there a story that you remember from our time there about how those graduates who had been through the program started impacting the community?
Well, I think the groups that we saw, the graduates that we did see, and those are part of our Blessings Cane group.
Right.
And so that kind of touched my heart even a little more because I had been praying for those kids.
So Blessing Cane was our district group.
It was
that
our
we supported.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was our district group that we had originally, and those are the ones that graduate this year.
Right.
The fact that they're not in their own community any longer. They have gone out to different communities.
Yeah.
And I think of Brian, who was the barber,
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
who has, in 3 years' time, have gone from being on the streets, no income whatsoever, to becoming being trained to be a barber,
Yep.
has owned his own barber shop
Yeah.
within and it was a little village area
Yeah.
that we went into.
Yeah.
It was not. It wasn't like way out in the rural area. He has 2 employees,
Yeah.
and he was so busy you couldn't even get a
I
haircut.
did. I was like, what a better thing to do than be in Africa. And because we were Saturday, we were going to go to church on Sunday. I was going to, and he wanted to cut my hair, but he had so many people coming in that he couldn't do
Yeah.
it. And I was like, okay, so the program,
And both of it, he and his employee, who also was cutting hair, didn't have time.
yeah, which was
So-
awesome.
yes.
I told him when I come back next year, I want my hair cut. But yeah. And then I think he also was employing, they put a massage, like a neck massage thing in there too for people to come while they were getting the haircut. So another person, and he built, what did he say, a 4-bedroom house?
4-bedroom home.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen it in person.
Yeah.
Because it looked amazing.
Yeah.
It looked amazing.
So in 3 years, he went from his siblings not being in school, him being on the streets, to being a business owner, employing people in the community. And I imagine because of the way he's working, he's going to employ more people. And so that was one way that I thought. So Brian was the one I was thinking of. But the other thing I thought about too was because of just funding in general, not every kid who shows up to that first meeting to try to get a part can be. And one of the things that the Zoe folks told us was these kids, as they are learning, some of them will go out and find some of those kids who couldn't get in the program, and they will adopt them
Correct.
into their families.
Yes. 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 Yeah, it was amazing to me too. And we're not talking adults. We're talking kids.
Yeah.
We're talking
Teenagers.
who are doing this.
Yeah.
Who look and see a need
Yeah.
and fulfill it.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Like I think a lot of times when we think of what the program is doing, it's this idea of us helping them. But when we started talking more about the groups themselves, in those meetings, they figure out, like they are the ones driving how to help each other. They figure out how to pull their cash together. And if let's say it's me and you come to the table and say, my farm is growing, but I need 2 more milk goats. We, the community, go, okay, Diane needs X amount of dollars. We're going to pull our resources. And it's not the Zoe staff who did it.
Correct. And it's a loan. It's not just a handout.
Right. Yeah.
And so that the next time they meet, if somebody else needs something, they can continue to share the wealth.
Yeah.
And I think we have to think about, I know people say this, well, they're more impoverished than we are here in the U.S., and that is, and in some ways, maybe so.
Yeah.
But I think they measure wealth differently than we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wealth is about community.
Yeah.
It's about whether I own a house
Right.
or I own 2 goats
Right.
or 3 goats. Do I own a piece of property?
Yeah.
And it's not large properties like we think of.
Right.
It may be just a plot of land that they're looking at.
Yeah.
That to them that is being wealthy.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is important to note is that all of these leaders, their siblings are back in school.
They're back in school. Yeah.
So that they are not. So that family has broken that cycle of poverty.
Yeah. That was the thing that it is families that have been struggling for a while who were on the verge that got them to where they were at. And these young people have stopped that cycle because many of their siblings not only finish through secondary school, but then they help them send them to university.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can bring that stuff back to the community. The other story I thought about was There was the group of young ladies, and there was, I think, one or two young men that came to our hotel to
Oh
kind of tell
yeah,
us.
yeah. There was another Brian who had this the very classy outfit
Yeah,
on that he made
that
himself.
he made himself. But the young ladies who she had bought motorbikes to use as like Uber, and then she employed drivers
Right.
to be the ones who went out and grabbed folks and helped them get from work to work. So again, here's a young person who started off with, no income, no future, and now she owns a farm and she has a whole fleet of like Uber vehicles.
And she doesn't drive.
And she doesn't drive. She doesn't
She
drive
just
them,
hires the people to drive them.
which is great, right? Like that's what we want. So I wonder what are there some lessons you've kind of alluded to it, but I wonder if there are lessons that you brought back that you would hope that we, especially in the community, would kind of like take from what we saw with the kids from Zoe.
I've tried to do this in other areas, but I think it reinforced and really confirmed to me and affirmed to me that we need to ask what the needs are before we just go ahead
Yeah.
and do it. And that's wherever we are in mission, whether it's here locally or whether it's
Globally.
out globally. Personally, I don't think and maybe it was just our community where we were, where Zoe is, that you don't want to send meal kits and do send mercy type of mission stuff to them. But I think wherever we go, we need to make sure that we are helping as opposed to hurting,
Yeah.
and understand the culture a little more about what their needs are, what their ideas of being a success.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
You?
I think what you said about, asking the question of what people need, because that, I think, restores dignity. We're not just trying to fix or help somebody out of what we would consider poverty. Each one of those kids, and you could see the change, right? So we saw day one kids all the way up to post grads, and their faces told the story of restored dignity. When I go to the store, and I don't even think about this, right? So today, I'll go to the store and I got to buy something. I go in and I pick what I want. Now there might be 1,000 different options, and it's aggravating sometimes to try to figure out what you need. But I live with the dignity of having the choice and picking, and then being able to do. I have the dignity of putting my hands to the work that I do, and I think Zoe restores a dignity, and in that restores another level of humanity to those kids. The other thing that I took away from the communal aspect was those kids sit at their meetings, so they have these monthly or weekly meetings in the beginning, and they kind of start to spread out. And they consider the needs of everybody in the group. And they trust each other to make a good decision for each other. And I would love for us, just as people, and I'm talking like in America in general, to be able to be the kind of folks who can sit together and consider in community the needs of each other. And that means that some days those kids, I'm sure there are times where there's like 5 great ideas that come to the table, and they collectively figure out which one's the idea. This person needs this today, and so I'll wait till next month.
Yeah.
And we'll fund this. And that's community to me.
Right.
that was really good community to me. Yeah. So let's talk about the nature of mission. This is a little bit of this particular type of work is different than what I think traditionally we're accustomed to. Because we didn't build a bathroom, we didn't do a high school.
We didn't do VBS. We didn't do some of those things that we're typically doing. What I thought that we were doing and our purpose there was to help provide hope,
Yeah.
help provide love,
Yeah.
to build relationships,
Yeah.
to let these young people know that people care,
Yeah.
that we are in this together.
Yeah.
Whether you're, what is it, 4,000 miles away? I don't know.
If I remember correctly, it was 8,126 miles away.
Okay, so it was over 8,000 miles away, and we are still in community with them, is how I look at it. And we do that by praying for them each day.
Yeah.
I mean, as simple as that.
Yeah.
And they will know that. And so I just think that that's the biggest takeaway. I think we help provide hope.
Yeah.
And the Zoe people, the Zoe staff, really are doing, with the boots on the ground, providing that and making sure that they know that there are people outside of their community who care for them and love them.
Yeah. Yeah, I also think that nature, one of the things that I said to our group when we prayed for them before we left was, you have a family that's praying for you 8,000 miles away. And I think for them to know that there's a church and a group of people who won't get to see them every day. We get to see them probably once a year, unless we're doing a Zoom call or something
we'll
with
do
them.
a virtual trip.
Virtual trip.
Yep.
That there's this group of followers of Jesus Christ who actually sees them as family. And I think that's important. And yes, we are still, so we'll talk about this towards the end, the financial, like how we actually help financially. But one of the young men who I talked to from our new group, he's going to learn how to do dreadlocks like I have. And he goes, when you come back, I'd like to be able to tighten yours up when you come back. And I was like, of course you can. And he wanted to take a selfie with me, and he wanted to see my kids. And he was like, we're connected now. And that connection of believers across the globe, I think, is vitally important. And our relationship is different. Like, he's not dependent on me in the sense of, like, he's got to perform or do really well so that I'll give him more money.
Right.
He recognizes that we mutually have a relationship. We love Jesus. We're connected. We're praying for each other. And it changes the nature, at least in this organization and the way we're doing this. It changes the relationship. We're equals in this. Yes, we're sending money over there to help the entire family. But he has a face and a name between me and you, and he's seen pictures that we took pictures of the church there. They've seen people from Harvest community, and they have in their hands a group of people who are there like, this is my American family. Now, he did want to get on a plane with us.
Yes, he did.
Which, hey, one day, I hope he gets to come and gets to see us in person and all of that good stuff. But it's a different mission. It's a different level of hope. And that's not, I want to be really careful too. I think all of the mission modes, whether it be relief, empowerment, hands-on building, or helping like steward and helping them see what they can do next, all of them are important.
Absolutely.
Zoe Empowers is a particular thing that enables us to help folks where they are not dependent on us, that we can have a mutual relationship and we get to see them grow. Like I loved seeing post grads.
Yes.
And I loved seeing day ones. It was a full gamut of.
Well, I think we saw I think we saw different phases of hope.
Yeah.
Because that first, I'll go to our last day with meeting and greeting with 150 kids sitting on grass, just looking to get put into a pod. They had already been vetted to be part of a Zoe group.
Yeah.
So then but it was 150 kids, and you could see that they were dazed because it was so new to them.
Yeah.
But you could also see the hope that this was something. And outside the perimeter of this gathering, you saw a community of people, not just young people, but especially young people, who were hoping and wishing and praying that they could be inside,
like be a part of the
to
pods.
be part of that. And with any luck, God willing, that will be them next season when they start another group.
Groups,
Probably in January.
Yeah.
But then we saw how Zoe empowers them, and the progression.
Yeah.
And that hope was a reality now. That had become something that hope that they had at the beginning of being part and thriving in a community had actually happened.
Yeah.
And they and you could see a different look, a happiness on their face. And they were proud, which they should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely just a whole gamut of ways that hope showed up, and obviously the Holy Spirit's working.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been talking about at Harvest is how do we measure success? And measuring success in a church can get a little cumbersome, a little iffy. Is it number of people who show up on Sunday mornings? Is it this? And the word that we've been using collectively, I think, has been impact. And I think of Zoe, the impact I saw in Zoe was, I think Reagan told us, or maybe it was either Reagan or one of the other ladies who were on the team had said to us that there was a community they had gone into in the chiefs or pastors in the area were really wary of Zoe coming in. And so they went and explained what Zoe does. They got to see it. And I think one of the markers of impact is community leaders. So Zoe goes to those community leaders, and it's the community leaders who go out and go, hey, Zoe is about to start new family pods. And the reason why there's such an influx of people on the day that they come is because the community leaders have said, this is good. This has changed our community in this ways. I think that is one of the biggest markers of impact that Zoe has, is that community people are saying, hey, you need to go be a part of this. It'll change your life.
And in some areas, some cases, it's still the tribal chief.
Yeah.
Where it's their tribe and they are saying, okay, you can come into my tribe.
Yeah. And be a part.
And be a part of it.
Yeah. It's so funny because the whole experience is a little overwhelming.
It is.
Yeah.
I cried the whole time. I listened to every student in our new group. Couldn't even speak properly.
I have video. And if you stay tuned, no, I'm just kidding. So let's tell a couple of stories.
Okay.
So we've talked about a couple of post-grads. I wonder if there's any stories from our new group that you remember that you wanted to share.
Uh, well, we talked about the young man with the dread who wants to do your head and wants to come. Um, I don't have a specific one with that group. I'm
Okay.
thinking of the kids that are just coming in and the stories that we
Go.
heard of the young man, and I'm not even sure this was the young man I was speaking with, or if it was somebody else who told me about it. That his mother left because his father was abusive and alcoholic.
Yeah.
And shortly thereafter, his father hung himself,
Yeah.
leaving him to take care of his siblings.
Yeah.
Because there is no, from what I could tell, there's no Safe Children's Coalition
Right.
in Kenya.
Yeah.
There's no mechanism like
Yeah.
that I could see. They rely on family members to take care of family members, and when there's not, there's not.
There's not. Yeah.
But that to me, and I've heard different stories, and I know a couple of other stories that I don't have all the details right now, but they were horrific.
Yeah.
Just absolutely horrific stories about why these kids were chosen and how they were going to receive hope from Zoe.
Well, the one that I think of that is most impactful is the young man who was going to learn how to do hair, and his was sort of the same. His father had sold all their land. Unfortunately, had committed suicide. His mother had had a mental breakdown. She left. His sister thought that getting married would help the family. She had 2 children. There wasn't enough food. She came back, and the sister had also disappeared, and he was left with his siblings and 2 new babies. And so I remember I just put my hand on his chest, and I said, "You're going to make it." And he looked back at me and goes, "I know. We're going to make it." And I don't tell those, like, people ask about those stories, and I there are moments where I am careful to share them because I don't want us to, like, be motivated by, oh, look how awful they have it. But the reality is, here are these young people. I think he may have been 17 years old. He's raising babies and siblings, and what we get to be a part of is empowering him so that he can not only be the head of his household, but that he can change. Because those kids, the younger siblings, are also in danger of living in a cycle of not only poverty, but mental health issues.
Endangerment.
There are all of the dangers that come from not having enough. That now we, 8,000 miles away through Zoe, are a part of stopping a cycle that's essentially is a cycle of violence. It may not be physical violence, but sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
But it's also the violence of not having enough, scarcity, trying to figure out where your next meal comes from. He, one day, will have a job that allows him to not only provide, but maybe even expand in the sense of buying goats, buying a cow, having, a house, and all of those things. And I think so Harvest is, guiding scripture has always been that Jesus in Matthew 9 was with people. He was in the community. He saw a bunch of people who were like sheep without a shepherd. And I'm always stuck on, and he had compassion. And compassion wasn't this idea of necessarily feeling bad for them, although there was a level of that. There was a heart-wrenching piece. That compassion always moves to action. And through empowerment and relief when it's necessary. is, I feel like that is our biblical mandate even as the church. Like there are all of these kids who are the numbers of kids. So we're talking about, so our group I think has like 23 older siblings who will be
Yep.
head of households.
Yes.
But we're talking about 123 or more
Yes.
kids, siblings who will be impacted by what we do over the
Yes.
next 3 years.
Yes.
You know, the other thing that I thought of that we didn't talk about earlier when we were talking about meeting those groups was 150 kids. I asked one of the ladies from Zoe, I said, well, why? So I see all these other kids. What is the thing that's keeping them from being in the groups? And she was like, it's really simple. It's just funding.
Yeah.
We've secured funding for this group.
No.
Oh, no.
No, they did not have. They started these groups on faith,
No.
hoping
Okay.
that they will get the funding for those 6 groups that we saw.
Yeah.
Did not have sponsors yet.
Oh, okay.
So I would love to be another spot. Grab
Yeah.
another.
Yeah.
That's just me. I mean, I just think that the model is so good
Yeah.
that, and it's not expensive when you think about
Yeah.
it.
So let's talk about that. We've talked about the impact and all of that stuff. Let's talk about what it actually costs to be able to support one group for 3 years.
It's $9,500 a year.
Yeah.
28.
Somewhere
I can't
around-
do the math.
Right. It's under $30,000.
It's under $30,000
for 3 years.
for 3 years, potentially helping or supporting, sponsoring, whatever word you want to use, over 100 kids.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And so break that down
yeah.
and break it down into individual. It's less than $120 a month or a year for most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can do a half a group, and
Yeah.
a lot of times you get Zoe will get anonymous donors
Right.
who will help
They get matching donations. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's relatively inexpensive for what is happening and
Yeah.
what the work is being done.
Well, the dollar amount, when you think about it, is so, I want to use the word infinitesimal, but that may be a really big word this early in the morning. If you think about it, it's under $30,000 for 3 years of support and training that actually bleeds over into a lifetime of success and exponential support for other people in the community.
Yeah, and I wish I had brought it with me. I have some documentation on the success rates
Yeah.
of what they are. They're staggering amounts
Yeah.
of success. I mean,
Yeah.
so when you think about giving your dollars to something, it is making a true difference.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes you think, oh, it's going to the administration of the organization, or it's going here. It's not being spent wisely.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, and from what the
Yeah.
research that I know other people have done,
Yeah.
it's you're getting the best value for helping.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the numbers that I think Reagan told us, and I know this is what he said, thinking about, because it's a program where kids get a couple of things, right? So they get vocational training, they get the mental health, they get taught about sexual health.
Hygiene.
Hygiene is another one of the important things. They get like a business. They learn about how to run and to keep a business running, right? How to take care of a family. And so with 123 kids, and they're teenagers, right? So putting a teenager into that position, you would imagine that the rate of kids who make it through the program would drop, right? 98% of the kids who join the program
stay
with the program and finish all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
That's an A anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's incredible, and it's because of the way that they work the program. So we've talked about the money thing. Let's talk about the way the program is set up. I wonder if you remember hearing, because we were surprised that one of the facilitators has like 13 or 14 groups.
Correct.
But do you remember why they said that was possible?
Yeah, because they can just go and visit and be mentors as opposed to actually being, making them do things.
Right.
The groups are self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the very beginning of when they form, when
Yep.
the group forms, the program coordinator goes and spends more time with them, making sure that they're doing and taking advantage of the resources that that Zoe is providing them. But then as they move along in the program, they're taking care of it themselves. So so maybe once a month you go and visit your group and say, okay, how can I help you?
Yeah.
What do you need from me? It's not the kids saying to the Zoe programmer, I want this, I want that.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting to know how to do things correctly.
Yeah. And also I think of we were told that the reason why, so they do microloans and grants, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't happen immediately.
Correct.
So one of the things that I think people are going to ask, and I want to be really clear about, is, so there are certain things that put kids in a particular spot of danger, right? Being unhoused is one of them. And so if there's a kid who's in a particularly dangerous situation, they find the way to secure them, safety in that way.
Correct.
Right? But it's not like, hey, we show up on day one, here's $50 to start living or whatever. And they said, the Zoe staff said, we start at the beginning of the program in such a way that gets them ready to understand that it's 3 years. And so they set from the very beginning, this is your program, this is your family group. And so that prepares them, because 3 years goes by faster than we think.
Oh, absolutely.
And so from the very beginning, the whole, they understand the goal, which is empowerment. So they start from the very beginning going like, hey, we're going to be here, we're here to support you, but you also have to make decisions. They start off with certain classes like we talked about, and then those kids learn, and the Zoe staff make sure they're ready for self-reliance, which I think is...
Yeah, I think of the young lady who is in our group, who's becoming a seamstress.
Yeah.
And she brought a sample of what she's made. She's only been in the program basically 6 months, if that.
Yeah.
And she was so proud of the little shirt that she had made for a child.
Yeah.
And so, to see that happening, to me was immeasurable. You couldn't put...
No.
You can't put a value on that. It's so vast, and but she knows that she's not. She can do that. She can concentrate on becoming something more than she had been, because of being empowered by having those people, they become friends and family, and so having that allows her to be a success. And I hate to use the word success, but it is. But it is. It's
it is. It's success. Yeah, I actually bought a shirt that one day I'll wear at church.
Yes.
But Friday, we went in. She took our measurements. Um, she was, and by Monday morning, it was sitting at the hotel waiting. Um, not only are they learning, but they're learning to be very, very good. Like it's an excellent piece of material. It was great.
And they decide on what to do within the community. It isn't like,
Yeah.
there's 20 barbers or there's 20 hairdressers.
Right.
They decide what the community needs so that they can thrive,
Yeah.
so that they can be successful. And it seemed like there were more hairdressers and stuff like that. But I think those people or young ladies will go out
Yeah.
to different
The
communities.
different communities. Yeah.
And when I think of it, their community is not like just here in Lakewood Ranch.
Right.
It's a little further.
It's a little bigger.
It's a little more difficult to get
Oh my gosh.
to get from one place to the other.
Yeah.
And we had vehicles. These kids are walking unless they have a motorbike, but most of them do not at this stage.
Yeah.
So they are, they have to meet certain periods of time. They have to be accountable to each other.
Yeah.
And that accountability is making a whole community better.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got two last questions. My first question is, when you think of our time together in Africa with the Zoe kids and the staff, what's your biggest takeaway?
I would say that it gave me hope.
Yeah.
It gave me hope in humanity.
Yeah.
We get so wrapped up here with different things and political things and social things, but it really gave me an idea, or my thoughts were that this is what God intended. How we're supposed to be taking care of each other.
Yeah.
And I wish we could do that more here.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the part that we need to be more taking care of each other. And it may not be financially like it would be there, but it would be checking in on each other.
Sharing a meal.
Yeah. And that was one of the great things about our group. We shared a meal every day.
Yeah.
Lunch.
Every time.
Every day. Breakfast. I mean, maybe not all of us were there at the same time, but for dinner we certainly were. And and our group shared each other's experiences and thoughts and digested that day, so that so that you felt refreshed.
Yeah. I think for me, I hope that other people get this experience too, because what I saw was it expanded my understanding of God.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went to church with them, now granted, I just want everybody to know,
You didn't understand a word.
I didn't understand a word, and yet in my soul I understood exactly what they were saying. When they would sing, something Baba, I understood that they were calling God Father. And I watched them worship in a way that was so free, and it reminded me that God hears us in every tongue and every language, on every part, every nation, and that it reminded me that before there were nations, there was just creation. And it was hope too, right?
Yeah.
Like it was the hope of, sometimes I think being, even as a pastor sitting in church, I regionalize God. Like I make God our God here, and there, the kids would get up and they would start to talk, and they would say, praise God. And everyone would say amen in unison. And I was like, what happened? What are we
Every
doing?
kid.
Every kid.
Every kid.
And in the way that faith and love and hope permeated every part of them, it just reminded me that I serve a God who created everything, every plant, every person.
And to go back to that church service that we attended, the one thing that I took away from it was we were not there for us. We were there to worship God.
Yeah.
You know, it was truly an audience of one.
Yeah.
Even though it was maybe more flamboyant than what we're used to here, which I loved, you know that.
Yeah.
But it was not a performance. It was serving and praising God.
Yeah.
And it also taught me that we don't have to be perfect in church. I think I've been on staff. I know what we go through for Sunday worship.
Yeah.
Make sure we get up there at certain time.
Yeah.
They were all over the board and nobody cared,
No.
and it was still serving God and just being themselves.
Yeah.
And so, to me, I think we could learn a lot from that.
You know, the other thing, and I know I said I had two questions, but just in the sense of like what I took away when we were we went to that the young ladies' convenience store, and we broke the rules.
Oh yeah, we were told
we were told we could.
We could.
We bought suckers for all of the kids in the community, and there was a lot of them. I sent a picture back to my family. So my aunt is 80 years old, and she's been always really big about us learning about our heritage and, you know, all of that stuff. And that one of the elders of the community, the older lady, she probably was 70, 80 years old, and the joy she had on her face as we were loving the kids of her community.
Yep.
And she took pictures with me, gave me the biggest hug in the world, and I was like, oh, I have in fact experienced the love of Jesus Christ. And I thought I was going there to do something for them, and she loved me like Jesus did.
I had that with one little girl that just followed me around when we were there. And I have gotten some great pictures of her, but the look on her face, and I kept thinking, oh, in several years you'll be out of it. Maybe you'll be part of Zoe.
Yeah.
And I will see you as a participant of Zoe.
Yeah. Okay. So last question. I don't know how long we've been talking. I'm sure this might have to be two, potentially.
We can keep talking.
Yeah, I know we could. We could talk forever. Actually, I do think what we'll do at some point is Molly, who is kind of the head of like global missions for the conference. I think we'll bring her in and we'll have a different conversation about missions because missions is such a big part of who we are at Harvest.
Yes.
I wonder if you were to take 20, 30 seconds for the folks who are, and I know there are folks who will be listening to this who aren't necessarily a part of Harvest or people who were trying to figure out who Harvest is. Why should people get involved and want to be supportive of Zoe? Like, why?
Why? Well, I think it's one of the best ways to share God's love.
Yeah.
To actually be the hands and feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
By giving people dignity, by being compassionate like Jesus was, as opposed to just sympathy.
Yeah.
I think we can do more by being community.
Yeah.
And if we're acting as community, we're serving a community and it's a bigger faith community than just Harvest.
Yeah.
It's a community all around the world.
Yeah. Well, there are 60% of the churches who are United Methodist in Florida are supporting Zoe in some way. And I'm hoping that, we get to a place where it's 100%.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be Kenya.
Yeah.
It's in I mean,
Africa,
Zoe is in
India.
Africa, other African nations. They are in India.
Yeah.
So there are different ways and more that we can be doing, and we have the resources.
Yeah.
You know, God has blessed us
Yeah.
for those to give those resources.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that, because what I was going to say is one of the questions that I know people will ask is, hey, you know, there are hungry kids here in Bradenton. And one of the things that I think is important that we always reiterate to people is at Harvest, we are grounded here locally, and we also extend globally. And so probably the next time we talk about missions, we'll talk about the local stuff
Yeah,
we
and
do.
and to me, it is not an either or.
Right.
It's both. We can do both.
We have the capacity
We
to do
have the
both.
capacity to do both.
Yeah.
And by being advocates of Zoe, we don't have to be part of Harvest. You know, a person doesn't have to be a member of Harvest
Yeah.
to support Zoe.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's broadening our community just
Yeah.
like those kids are doing in their communities.
Yeah.
We're making people aware of the needs of an area that and using a model that will really works.
Yeah. And it goes back to what I said, you know, before there were nations, there was creation.
Yes.
And so it's all of it that I think that we get to be a part of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my thing. And I guess we can end with that. We'll do this again. We'll talk about missions because this is a part of our DNA at Harvest. We'll put in the notes for this podcast, you know, Zoe's, where you can go and see where Zoe's at. You can always give through the church.
And we have it on the website.
We have it on the website. I just would say this in closing to everybody. We have the capacity, in fact, to be a church and a community that serves both locally and globally. And because we have that capacity and because God has been so gracious to us, we should. Mm-hmm. We talk a lot about it in the sense of, this is my response to God's grace. He has been so good to me and given me resources. And I meant it when I said it to those kids. We are their family too. And that's what community does. And if $9,500 a year creates a way to break cycles of poverty, violence, and not enough, I think that's the call of the church. And we do that here locally as well. And so it's not an either or, like you said, it's a both and. And I'm grateful that we get to be that church. I'm also grateful for you.
Oh, thank you.
It was a great trip to be with you. I'm so glad you are our Missions and Justice Director. I know we've been friends now for 6 years, and you've let me grow up around here. But it was a great trip, and I'm so thankful for your heart. And I'm hoping that once people listen to this, they will contact you and they'll flood your email box and figure out ways to get involved.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because I think there are more ways that we can be in mission, help more people, not enable more people, but to empower more people.
Yeah. That's a good place. Hey, thank you for joining us for the Good Roots podcast. I'm really hopeful that you will take this and it will encourage you. It'll give you hope. It will, I hope it pushes you to be more giving, more thoughtful how you might give. I hope you'll ask more questions. And I hope you'll join us the next time for the Good Roots podcast. Thanks.